More explosive early resignations are coming. It's a tinderbox. Morale has never been lower. Mike Johnson will be stripped of his gavel and they will lose the majority before this term is out. Now, legacy media, cable news, I know I've been on your helmet for quite some time, but I'll tell you this right now. If anybody gets an exclusive to the moment they strip Mike Johnson's gavel, not only will I watch it, I will endorse the show. I will go live. I'll do a whole live for the gavel stripping. That's it. Matter of fact, I'll do 2 lives if his glasses fall off. Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters, and this is Who Raised Y'all, where we highlight those unique individuals going above and beyond to make society worse.
We have some breaking news. We'll come right back. A Fox News alert. The case against former FBI Director James Comey is getting dismissed. The judge ruling the appointment of interim U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan violated the Constitution. The judge also criticized the DOJ for allowing an FBI agent who viewed Comey's privileged materials to testify to the grand jury. Now, the judge also tossed the case against Letitia James.
You know, the kinds of people you'll see asking to speak to the manager at the pearly gates.
Sure, we'll be taking all available legal action, including an immediate appeal.
I want to talk to the manager.
I'm going to keep going on this. I'm not worried about someone who has been charged with a very serious crime.
Well, today, sorry, I don't have no change. You believe they left her out on the corner with a box of her things? Now, I don't give the DEI hires. Yes, you was. Hey, hiring you was so out of pocket, they pressing charges. I ain't never heard of nothing like that. I mean, they done called us DEI, but I ain't never heard of pressing charges. You so unqualified. I told you call Annalise Keating. I ain't never seen nobody get laughed out of court like you did with James Comey and Letitia James. I ain't never seen, they didn't even laugh Roman Israel out of court. And I'm pretty sure they shot that movie while Denzel Washington was sleepwalking. I don't even think he remembers making it. But you know what, GOP? It gets worse. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who will retire from Congress in 42 days, announced the end of her House career Friday night in a manifesto of sorts that sounded many of the notes of concern we hear about President Trump's second term. Let's dispense with the caveats. MTG has never been representative of the House Republican Conference writ large. She clearly has a bone to pick with Trump and the leadership. MTG may have her eye on the governorship. That chatter picked up again over the weekend. She was also never a fan of Speaker Mike Johnson. Well, that just means she can see and hear. That's all that means. I'm pretty sure the only fan of Mike Johnson at this point is Covenant Eyes. MTG's 4-page note was stinging for House Republicans because the message rang true to so many in the House GOP. In fact, a few other GOP members messaged us over the weekend saying that they too are considering retiring in the middle of the term. Oh, let me find out. So MTG was a leader after all. She was in the retirement leadership. Apparently, she was in the retirement leadership. Well, look, don't let me stop you, GOP. Don't let me stop you. You know, as much as we enjoy your presence here in DC, I'm sure you missed back home in the middle of all those red states where the land votes. Here's one particularly exercised senior House Republican. The entire White House team has treated all members like garbage. All. And Mike Johnson has let it happen because he wanted it to happen. That is the sentiment of nearly all appropriators, authorizers, hawks, doves, rank and file. Doves? I heard of hawks. I ain't never heard of no doves. Y'all got pigeons over there too? I've seen a few birds. The arrogance of this White House team is off-putting to members who are run roughshod and threatened. They don't even allow little wins like announcing small grants or even responding from agencies. Not even the high profile, the regular rank and file random members are more upset than ever. Members know they're going into the minority after the midterms. Oh, so y'all got polling too? Okay. Cause it's funny, cause it seems like it was only yesterday y'all were talking about the mandate. Wasn't it the mandate? They was just talking about the mandate, right? Like any pushback had to be George Soros funded operatives, right? I believe what was that? Mike Johnson and they all repeated the Hate America rally when millions of people hit the streets. Now they are resigned to going into the minority after the midterms. Tell me you lying without telling me you lying. You lying. More explosive early resignations are coming. It's a tinderbox. Morale has never been lower. Mike Johnson will be stripped of his gavel and they will lose the majority before this term is out. Now, legacy media, cable news, I know I've been on your helmet for quite some time, but I'll tell you this right now. If anybody gets an exclusive to the moment they strip Mike Johnson's gavel, not only will I watch it, I will endorse the show. I will go live. I'll do a whole live for the gavel stripping. That's it. Matter of fact, I'll do 2 lives if his glasses fall off. Of course, Johnson's team points out they have impossibly small margins and believe they're doing what they can with the hand they're dealt. But the idea that Republicans could lose their majority this Congress is no longer far-fetched. If Johnson were to lose another House Republican in the middle of this term to retirement, death, or illness, there's a decent chance that the GOP can end up in the minority at some point in 2026. Now I'm looking at y'all. No, I'm looking at all of you. All we need is one. All we need. Do I need to start reading resumes? Huh? I'll start putting y'all resumes up on the projector like the Summer Jam screen. Okay? Till we get one. It's been that bad. Now, MTG herself weighed in, fact check, true, but it's worse than people inside the bubble know when you talk to real Americans outside the wicked snow globe of Washington, D.C. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I appreciate all the work that you did tearing apart MAGA. We are grateful. Ain't gonna be too many of them wicked snow globes. Hey, now this is where I'm from. Ain't gonna be too many of them wicked snow globes. Unless you want to name names. If you want to name names, if you want to name the snow that's clouding up DC's globe, I'm with that. But we not just going, nah. Myself and many of my colleagues came courageously roaring into 2025 with legislation that matched the 2024 electoral mandate. There it is. Only to be totally sidelined by Johnson under full obedience of the White House. Executive orders are temporary. Q memes have not and obliterated the deep state, and my colleagues constantly trying to pass loyalty tests instead of demanding what is right won't help Americans pay their rent or stop corporations from buying homes, groceries, good paying jobs, stop foreigners with visas from stealing their jobs. Of course, you got to get a little xenophobia in there. Stop American tax dollars from funding foreign wars and causes, or rebuild the value of the dollar. Passing effective legislation. Whoop. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I told you get in and out. You stayed around too long. Now Jasmine got you. Now she here now. You need to hear this.
Shocking announcement from Congresswoman Greene. What went through your mind when you first heard she was going to resign on January 5th?
You know what? Honestly, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You're on the other side of the president for 1 week and you can't take the heat. Imagine what it is to sit in my shoes, to not only be on the opposite side of him, but to have people like her who are constantly fanning the flames of hate. And imagine what those threats look like when you literally are someone like me. But at the end of the day, I know that I serve the people of Texas 30. And so my job isn't to be there and necessarily do whatever is going to make the president not be on my back, but instead is to focus on making sure that I can push forward with policies that are positive for Texas 30.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. You couldn't take a couple of weeks on the other side of Trump while expecting the rest of America to withstand this authoritarian takeover. That is pretty much what you're saying. You know, the people who love to call everybody else snowflakes. Yeah. And I'm looking all across the aisle at y'all, GOP. Y'all the ones I'm talking about right now, because y'all enabled all of this. So all this crying that I'm hearing right now, you know, it builds character. That's what they used to tell. My daddy used to tell me, it builds character. It'll make you a man. And I can tell you this, some of y'all could use it. And by some, I mean all, regardless of gender. Because I tell you this, it ain't getting no better.
So, Tara, President Trump told NBC News in a phone interview on Saturday it's not going to be easy for her to revive her career in politics. But then he adds, I'd love to see that. And then hours later, he referred to her as a lowlife in a Truth Social post where he claimed the Republican Party has never been so united as it is right now. Which is it?
Well, it's whichever way the wind blows for Donald Trump. As we know, he can feel one way 1 hour and someone's in his ear, or he sees something the next hour and he changes. Look,
well, there is a point about loyalty, right? Because
Yes.
she's not the first one who has been tremendously loyal to him and found out it's not necessarily a two-way street.
Right, which is why I wonder why she's so shocked that it happened to her. No one is immune from Donald Trump turning on them. No one. He's done it to every person. He even turned on his loyal mentor, Roy Cohn, in the 80s, who basically built Donald Trump into the monster that he is today and taught him everything he knows. He turned on him. He would turn on his own children. So he is a malignant narcissist, and that's what he does. If you show one iota of independence from him, he turns around and threatens you and casts you aside, which is why I don't understand why so many Republicans continue to give their blind loyalty to him, because it never works out well for any of them.
That's right. This man done slammed low-life Republicans while touting party unity. And if that doesn't make any logical sense, just imagine how the rest of us with operable brains have received everything else we heard for the last decade. It sounded just like that. All of a sudden, oh, that's crazy. This man don't stay consistent. Y'all didn't see enough when he embarrassed y'all in the Oval Office with Zohran Mamdani? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Republicans, after all of that work to make Mamdani the boogeyman in the midterms, then watching his press conference with Trump. Yep, that was pretty much it. That was so off-putting, I had to go get myself tested. Just from watching the press conference, I had to go get tested and make sure I had a clean bill of health going into the new year. Yeah. We got some people trying to defend it. The inverse is also true. Oh, the inverse is also true, as in all the things that Mamdani had said about Trump. And then he went into the Oval Office and what? Still called him a fascist. I didn't see the clip where Mamdani talked about what a great job Trump was going to do as president. I don't recall that clip. I don't recall the clip where Mamdani kept touching Trump's arm and talked about what a great job he did during the campaign. I don't recall that. I don't recall that at all. I don't recall the clip where the mushroom. Oh wait, that wasn't the mushroom. That was a different one. It was a different scenario I was thinking about. You know, like y'all wish y'all were involved in. Cause I seen how many of y'all fleeing already. This is what the people that will be left have to deal with. But we done seen how many have already left skid marks in Congress. A record number of congressional lawmakers aren't running for re-election in 2026. That number currently stands at 10 senators and 41 House members. There are 22 retiring from public office, with the rest running for a different office. 16 looking to become governor of their state, 12 looking to make the jump from House to Senate, and one, Chip Roy, is looking to become his state's attorney general. That man desperate to get out of there. Attorney general. Yeah, no, I'm leaving Congress. I'm leaving Congress. Well, it's a Foot Locker in my district. Need a manager. So I'm that was always been my calling. That has always, ever since I would go in as a kid and the sneakers, the smell of the new sneakers, that has always been my calling to run a Foot Locker. So, legislating just is really not my jam. Now here you see the list right here. There are more Republicans signaling their desire to exit Washington at 28 than Democrats at 23. Oh, what's that? What about the Democrats leaving? Because they don't want to work with y'all. Because they don't want to. Would you want to work with you? Huh? Would you want to work with you? And also, let's also evaluate just how dysfunctional it has to be that you have control of all three branches of government, executive, legislative, and judicial, and you have both houses of Congress. You have all three branches and both houses of Congress, and your party has more people voluntarily leaving. Yikes. Yeah, like Joni Ernst, yikes.
When you are arguing about illegals that are receiving Medicaid benefits, 1.4 million, 1.4, they are not eligible, so they will be coming off. So people are not, well, we all are going to die. So, for heaven's sakes, folks. Okay, no,
Well, there are multiple ways to die, right? There's the physical death, but there's also a way of kind of dying on the inside. The way Marco Rubio looks every time they show him behind Donald Trump speaking without a teleprompter. That kind of death on the inside.
AOC's low IQ. You give her an IQ test, have her pass the exams that I decided to take when I was at Walter Reed. Those are very hard, they're really aptitude tests, I guess, in a certain way, but they're cognitive tests.
Marco will probably be stepping down by midterms because when S gets a little challenging for little Marco, he likes to run away. Remember, he contemplated resignation after he lost a Republican nomination for POTUS. He's just not built for this. It's all over his face. Oh, we saw it. We saw it. It's the same stuff that was on Caroline Leavitt's face when she got caught on camera as Donald Trump pivoted to talking about the hoax. Oh, yeah. Smells like shame.
She's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama. They were made up by the Biden, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
The Marco Rubio Guide to Survival is not going very well. It's become increasingly clear that Marco Rubio is Secretary of State in name only. Since taking over Foggy Bottom, Rubio has constantly appeared one or two steps behind the actions of President Donald Trump and tech mogul Elon Musk, popping up to explain, justify, or even double down on choices he probably wouldn't make if he was actually running the show. He's talking and posting online in a different voice, contradicting earlier policy views, and appears to have little control over the implementation of Trump's assault on the federal workforce. I can only imagine what would get done if Marco Rubio leaves. Then you stuck with Kristi Noem and Pete Hegseth and Pam Bondi, Cash Patel. Actually, that sounds like a reality show. That sounds like a reality. Could they draft a memo? Just give them 24 hours to draft a sensible memo alongside Trump and see if they can manage to do it. That would be interesting. And then if it looks like they're close, then you introduce Scott Bessent to go in there and throw his hands. Whoever. I would watch it. I would definitely watch that. Now, when it speaks to dysfunction as a party, I don't think we truly appreciate just how wide this gap is. In the morning, we got Patriots, huge move incoming. President Trump is preparing to drop the Healthcare Price Cuts Act as early as tomorrow, blowing up the corrupt Obamacare subsidy racket that funnels billions to big Democrats. Trump just cornered the Democrats. You know, I saw something like this before. I believe it was last week when they were all excited about Trump giving Mamdani his comeuppance. Let's see how that went. Just a few hours later, White House to delay healthcare proposal after significant congressional backlash. According to two White House officials, the announcement has been delayed, with one of those officials citing strong congressional backlash to Trump's proposed plan. Trump planned to make an announcement as early as Monday, proposing a framework to address healthcare costs, which included an extension of Obamacare subsidies. No way! Not Trump backing down to the rank and file. What does he think this is? The Epstein files? Confirmed. Trump White House is delaying an announcement on a healthcare plan. Will not be this week. This as Republican members of Congress, including senior members, express outrage at being left out of any process on what they all know is a critical issue affecting huge numbers of constituents. Anger is not just at the White House, but also at Speaker Johnson. This has been quickly rising, and the idea of a White House-only sudden healthcare plan has rank and file fuming at their leader. And many Republicans are extremely frustrated and puzzled by reports that the White House is expected to announce an extension of enhanced ACA subsidies. They feel the pivot makes no sense given GOP spent the entire shutdown fight arguing that the subsidies prop up insurance companies and are, in their view, bad policy. No, wait, let me get this straight. So y'all are mad that y'all spent all this time arguing one thing and then he just went and completely did the exact opposite and is just going to do it on his own. Huh. It's almost like you're just becoming American citizens. It's like you mean the same guy that said he was going to lower costs and canceled it by Christmas? You mean that guy decided to go the other way? You mean the guy who decides on a new tariff policy and rate every 2 weeks? You mean that guy decided to go the other way? That's fascinating. That's interesting. Well, you know, similar experiences breed empathy. So maybe you being left out and mocked and bullied and embarrassed and left holding the bag time and time and time again might build a bridge of understanding between you and your constituents that's been feeling this all year long. It actually might make you better congressmen and senators. It certainly will if you're on the left side of the aisle. But for right now, all I can say is best of luck to you. Best of luck, GOP. It is a hot mess. But what I can tell you this, though, I gave you some advice, but that advice is not free. If y'all could give to Lindsay Halligan, she trying to raise some money for at least get her some cab fare or something. We just can't have her walking around barefoot in DC. Yeah, it's ice roaming around here. You know what they get into. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. It's Thanksgiving time, so you know what that means.
Beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, ram, raw.
It also means a holiday sale over at thepeoplesgetup.com and reesewaters.com. Make sure you check the community tab for the code to use throughout the weekend. And for memes, you can send your friends and say it was yours. I know how y'all do. And of course, I'm thankful to all of you. So many of you guys have hit me up at admin@reesewaters.com, including my man TP all the way from Germany. Shout out to all my German Americans out there. Let's see, we got, Bruce Willis was born in West Germany.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother.
Sandra Bullock, whose mother was a German opera singer, and Michael Fassbender. We won't talk about where my mind goes with Michael Fassbender. Ain't no Dominique Wilkins? They're not going to talk about Neek, the human highlight film? Oh, he was born in Paris. He should get credit for that. Some of that Jerry curl dripped in Germany. I know it did. TP writes, Miss Ray, good morning. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I most certainly did. Bama won, and after nearly a year, I finally got some merch. I got a beanie hat, a Who Raised Y'all coffee mug, and an I'm Troubled t-shirt. I'm providing a photo of all the items, and the beanie really keeps your head warm. I would also say the Who Raised Y'all mug also keeps your head warm, because I only break it out when I'm hot. You know, when I'm mad at people, I'm hot, I showcase it and make sure that it's facing whose parenting I'm questioning. But shout out to TP for submitting those and for being such an integral part of this community. Be on the lookout for our Black Friday sale and make sure you order by December 10th in order to get your items by Christmas. Now, a lot of you guys have also talked about the fact that the items aren't on the YouTube page anymore. And believe me, a book will be written all about what we've had to deal with on the back end trying to get those things showcased. But they're still available over at thepeoplesgetup.com. Again, that is thepeoplesgetup.com, as well as reesewaters.com. And while you're at it, be sure to send me your merch pics to admin@reesewaters.com. And while you're at it, I could use a good plug for vests. Now in my fourth decade, I feel the sudden need for vests. I could also get a good Stetson hat, and probably this time next year, a cane. That's how I see Thanksgiving 2026. Oh, I'm gonna be strutting come election next year.
Down from the bar, there's a platform stage.